Hey guys, I'm back in my closet again. Apparently this is just home now for me. No, the high school is doing band practice and it's not like the good band, it's the like lower class band and they're not very good. And trust me, you don't want to keep hearing it. So this is actually really quiet in my closet, so it's kind of a nice place to be. Plus I kind of like being in here. It reminds me, oh yeah, maybe I should start wearing some of these clothes. I promised you on that last video, the favorites, that I was going to show you this closet and the things I'm dealing with. And right before I hit record, my little shoe thing that hangs on my door also came colliding down. So this is like all the signs in the world that I need to purge this closet. I started doing another closet that I had today, and it's I don't want to deal with, like, I'm glad to have this problem, but it's just, it sometimes becomes overwhelming because you have so much stuff and then you have to decide, like, do I really need this in my life? Where do I give it away? Do I put it on eBay? What do I do with it? So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to flip this camera around. Hang on. Actually, I'm going to have to put you on pause. Then I'm going to put you on it and then I'm going to come back. Ready? Here we go. Okay, so right as I was starting to record, this thing came falling down up at the top here. It just broke down. And that's where, like, I keep most of my Converse and my Vans. And then up here, when I was gone, I went to Disneyland and I came back. And then this is what I came back to. Literally, it ripped from the wall. And then the little wood thing even snapped. So I tried like hammering it in, so that's not mold back there. That's me using a hammer trying to put it back, but obviously it's not. So I have somebody coming out to put steel beams in to see if, you know, I can get it repaired just for future. But I mean, obviously I have too much stuff, way too much stuff, because although you would be proud of me, I at least got rid of like a lot of my sandals. I'm starting slow but surely to get things. I have stuff up here too. See, it's just out of control. Okay, back to my life update. Okay, so that's what this closet looks like right now. It's a nightmare. So I get to go through all this stuff. It's just I'd like to take, and this is really embarrassing to kind of say, this is more my summer spring clothes, and then I have fall clothes, which is nowhere near this amount because we don't get that many cold days, but I want to take it down to at least 50%, and it would be nice if I got like a few bucks for it. So I'm going to do a yard sale. I was actually on Pinterest and watching, like, not watching, but looking at like different ideas of how to have like the successful yard sale, because I want to try to get at least a just decent amount of money for it. I was telling my husband I really want to save to do a Disney World trip. My son has been wanting to go so badly, and we've gone so many places that we wanted to go to. Besides Atlantis, that's really the only family trip, unless you're counting like California, that we've done for the family, meaning everybody enjoyed it. So I'd really like to try to maybe save to go to Disney World, and I just want to look at Florida anyway for retirement, or I don't know, things to come. You never know. But anyway, so it would be nice if I got like a nice good chunk of change to put towards that trip. It's not a cheap trip. It's, you know, I don't know, what's the cheapest. Have you guys done Disney World? And what was the cheapest you've gotten away with in doing it? And I want it to be a good trip. I want us to be able to go like 7 days, so that way we can see everything there is to see. If you live in Florida, you're so lucky, because Florida's just better than California in my opinion. But of course, grass is always greener on the other side, so who knows. But I was supposed to take a trip to Texas this summer with my son, and we didn't end up doing it. I don't know. We took a trip to Arizona to visit my father-in-law and his wife, and it was an amazing trip. Honestly, I think I could easily live in Scottsdale, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona. It was so beautiful there. They take such good care of their state, and it's so clean. And I don't know, I already live in the desert, so it would be like an even move for us, actually better, because it's just better taken care of, and it's out of California. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really love California. I don't have California love, and sorry, my booty's sore. So I don't know. I'm just over California. We just have a business here, so we're kind of tied to this area, at least for a while. I don't know. It would be nice if we could sell it, but at the same point, we have employees that we really care about, and it's not just about us all the time. It's also about them, and that makes it hard. You know, we can't just put a for sale sign up and sell it and then move on with our lives. We also have to, at least we are this way. Not all maybe businesses are this way. We want to make sure if we did decide to sell it, it went to the right people, so that everyone that's there still has a job and isn't risking, you know, losing it if we decided to sell it to someone. And that's just wishful thinking. I don't know if that will ever come about, because it's picking up and starting over is really hard, and it's not so easy, especially when you own a business. It's not like you can take all those customers with you. We're not an online base, we're patient based, so it's all local business. That's all our business is, unless somebody, you know, is traveling from out of town. That occasionally we might get someone like that, but other than that, it's all local based. So it's not like we can just move our customers with us. They're here. So you know, it's not so easy for us to pick them and move. But I'm just kind of over California. It's just it's a hot mess here, and it's just the water issues, and it's just overcrowded. It's expensive. The taxes are high. Yada yada yada. I'll stop preaching about all the things of California. But anyway, so what's been going on? My son just started back to school, so he is now a 5th grader. I don't think I really touched base on it. 4th grade was really, really hard for us. I didn't really talk about it on or I shouldn't say on Facebook, on YouTube or anything, because the problem is I do know that certain people watch my channel, and that makes it hard to really truly express your feelings about something. But I'll kind of touch basis on it a little bit. First of all, bullying is sometimes an overused word, and I think that sometimes people need to toughen up a little bit. However, bullying is a very serious thing, and it happens a lot with kids, and a lot of times they don't tell you as parents or the teachers, or maybe they have spoken up to the teacher and they were told to sit down, or what did they do to antagonize the child. And that was kind of something that we were dealing with, is our son would tell us that a little boy was hitting him and he was punching him, and it was really hard to deal with because we knew the little boy. He had been to our home and he had expressed some things that were going on in his home, and we kind of opened our hearts to him, and we gave him a lot of second chances, simply because I worried for his safety in his own home, and I kind of knew we were his only kind of outlet outside of that, at least in my opinion, since they were from out of town and they didn't have other family in town. Again, I don't really want to get into too much detail about that, because I still worry about the safety of the child. The biggest thing is that he was continuing to hit my son. My son finally spoke up and told the teacher, and he ended up being punished along with the little boy, simply because he told, which I thought that was what our school system was about here. We're supposed to be this zero tolerance school, and he ends up getting punished for it. So the hitting continues on, but my son doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to get in trouble. And that's really sad that it came down to that point. One day, my son finally had enough, and he spoke up and he said something probably not so nice to this little boy. We are not saying that he is innocent in what he said. He told him, basically his parents stink, and it was the truth, what he said. His parents aren't great people. And after school, the little boy told his father, and his father decided to come up to my vehicle, yank open my car door, block my son from getting into the vehicle, and scream at me, trying to get in a physical altercation with me in my own vehicle. And it was very uncomfortable. I made up an excuse of why we needed to leave so I could get out of there because, he has my husband's phone number. He has all my husband's information. If there's an issue, go to my husband. You don't need to go to a female and talk down to her like that. I have a big problem with men that seem to think that they can somehow control women. And that's probably because of the abuse that I saw my mom go through growing up. So at this point, he's upset because basically my son said something about them, which was a repeat of what my husband and I were talking about. So I feel bad because my son had overheard it, and he probably shouldn't have said what he said, but he said it. Next thing, we go get to the house. About 20 minutes later, the father sends me a text. Again, could have sent a message to my husband, but decides to send a message to me telling me that my son supposedly threatened his son with a karambit, which is a type of knife, and said he was going to slice his throat and was going to kill his son. And I asked my son about it, and I don't even know what he's talking about, which he didn't talk like this. If you knew our son, he's not like this. But at the same point, as a parent, it's possible. And I don't ever want to say my son is 100% innocent because I don't know. And, while he may act a certain way in front of us, I don't know. I know I did little sneaky things when my parents weren't around. And so I actually called the parents of the two other boys that were there when this supposed conversation took place. And I talked to the parents and I said, can we have a conference call with all the kids so that I can find out, what was being said, minus the kid that's parents coming after me. And they all had the same story, and they couldn't, get together and talk about their story because it was right after school. Nobody knew this was going to happen. So I tend to believe what everybody said. And they all said, no, they were talking about a video game, but there was never any talk about slicing anyone's throat or anything like that. And this was actually 2 days before this whole thing even happened. So this particular day, there was no conversation about this. So fast forward to the next day, and I decided I wasn't going to send my son to school that day just because I didn't feel comfortable with the way that this man was acting, and I was afraid that he may come after my son or retaliate towards my son, and I wanted to speak with the principal. I called the school, and I actually know one of the people that work in the office, and she told me that the father was there and had contacted the police department, yes, the police department, and said that my son was going to kill his son. This is a big deal. My son is in the 4th grade. This will follow him for the rest of his life. This is not a little, he pushed me or he shoved me or something is going on. This is someone saying that my son is going to kill their child. And absolutely, I would hope the police take this seriously, because if it was other way around, absolutely, I would want them to be on my side. The principal first met with them, then the police officer first talked to the father and the son, and then he asked if he could speak with the son without the father around. And he went into the room, and he actually admitted to the police officer that no, my son in fact did not say these things, that it was more that they were talking about video games, but he was afraid he was going to get in trouble with his dad. So he had said something else took place rather than the truth. So I actually, I talked to the girl that worked in the office, and I said, would you mind passing my phone number on to the police officer so that I could also speak with him? Because I was also concerned about the father, and the fact that the father followed me out to the parking lot, would not let my son enter the vehicle, was, wanting to fight with me. And I don't want to risk something happening to my son on school grounds when this man is there. So he spoke with me. He said, I think this is kind of a boys will be boys type of thing. I think that the boy was nervous that he was possibly going to get in trouble because he had been punching on your son and hitting him. And so he decided, rather than him getting in trouble, he was going to try to kind of turn it around and make it seem more like your son's fault. So, okay. I thought we were done with it all. I wasn't happy about it, but we were close to the end of the school year, so I said, you know what, let's suffer through it. Maddox, let's meet in a new place. We're not going to meet at the same place. We're going to meet in front of the school, right by the principal's office, so that if anything happens, they're witnesses if this guy tries anything again. And we changed up everything. And so these were the conversations. So now, a couple hours later, I get a phone call from the principal because I'd been waiting for her to return my call before I sent Maddox back to school. I wanted to meet with her with my son because she is a new vice principal, fairly new, and I wasn't really familiar with her. And some of her viewpoints that I am aware of with the school, I don't agree with. And I did not want anything to be turned around or used against my son. Again, because this is his future we're talking about. She proceeds to tell me that the other two boys had said that my son did say these things, and she's saying all these things, and I'm going, what is going on? Does she not know that? Obviously she doesn't know that I spoke with the police officer. She doesn't know that I spoke with the parents. And I cut her off, and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. You're full of baloney, because I've already talked to everyone, and everyone has told me the same story that my son has told me, and that this is completely false what this boy said. She got really fumbly, and she just kind of said, oh, and then she kind of got off the phone with me really quick, and then I never really spoke with her again. But it made me really lose faith in my school system, and the school system at Clovis Unified School District is supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to be, one of the best in California, but this was really an eye-opening to me, because I felt, first of all, this boy isn't even from our school district. He's from another school district. He's brought in, and I found out later that the school makes more money off of him, and that's why they kind of cater to these type of students, because they get paid more money because they're coming from out of district, and he's got a troubled past anyway. And it bothered me that the school was willing to stomp all over my child for the simple fact that they got paid a little extra for a kid that was adding zilch to our school system. And it was really upsetting. I was really, really wanting to take and put him into either private school or homeschool this year, and my husband and my son and I had all sat down and talked about it, and my son didn't want to not be around his friends, so, against my better judgment, he's there right now. But I'm just done. I'm done with the school system. I'm done with the state. I feel that this state has other people's interests at hand rather than the people that work hard, that take care of their families, that care about their families, and put other people before them, and that really, really bothers me. So it's kind of why I told you guys I was going to come back on YouTube, but I was dealing with that, and it was just really heartbreaking to me because, these are young children, including the other boy, and this can affect both of their lives greatly. And I'm thankful that it didn't, and I'm trying not to dwell too much on it because, you know, it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing, but it bothers me, and it really broke my heart, and I bawled my eyes out because this was something that could affect my son forever. And, you know, for someone to accuse my son of wanting to kill someone, it hurt him too. This was supposedly his friend, and saying, you know, such horrible things. So I don't know if I completely got it across because I can't really talk about a lot of parts of it, but anyway, kind of why I didn't really start back up. And then, you know, once we got through that, I just wanted to enjoy being a family in the summer because it just kind of reiterated the fact that, you know, your family's important. It's all you've got in life, and, you know, you gotta push through together and get through it. And I don't know, it was just really disheartening, and it just made me really lose faith in humanity, and the people that are supposedly protecting your children aren't necessarily doing that. And that was really hard for me to swallow because you know, we're big donators to the school. We've done a lot for the school, and I kind of felt, you know, stabbed in the back a little, not a little, a lot. So that was really hard. So anyway, we were dealing with that. Over the summer, we just kind of hung out and did more like staycations where we mostly stayed in California and did a lot of traveling. And then we did do a trip to Arizona where we called it the water park tour. My son went on a bunch of different water parks, and we rode rides at the water parks. He loved it. We were actually going to do the one where the kid lost his head recently. I don't want to talk to, it's so gruesome, but we were actually going to go to that water park. That was on our tour of water parks when we were going to go do the Texas and everything else. That was one of the ones we were going to go to. Thank God we didn't. Not because I think that was going to happen. I think that was a fluke thing. I don't think the boy should have been on it. I don't really know the gist of it because I don't live there, and I don't know, you know, the details of it all. But holy cow, that was scary to hear about. And I think I'll stay away from those, what do they call them, water coasters or whatever, until they work out the details of those a lot more. I'm already afraid of the scary water slides anyway. My son and my husband are not. But and so now I'm back at the office. I was working from home, and so now I'll be going back to the office again. One of our girls who worked for us for 7 years finally moved on. She has a master's in psychology, and we've kept her for way too long. I felt so guilty keeping her for so long. We kept increasing her pay because we just didn't want her to leave. But, you know, that's selfish of us. We've got to let our, you know, our family, our extended employee family, move on and do great things. We have a lot of college students, so, you know, most of them move on to bigger and better things and become doctors or physical therapists, whatever their end goal is. So I think fiscally, conservatively, we're going to have me come back in rather than hiring someone full-time again, and then we'll have someone part-time so that I can still spend time with my son, but I can also work, and, you know, we can just keep on trucking. And I just don't want to, we're just trying to rein things in, trying to be more conservative with our spending, and doing more, what's the word I'm looking for? We're just trying to make sure that for anything that may happen in the future that we're prepared for it rather than, you know, living day to day. So anyway, let's see what else. Anything else? Health has been okay. Everyone else actually is in the family sick, knock on wood, that I have not gotten sick. I've been really trying to take a lot of echinacea and be more proactive towards keeping from it, so fingers crossed I don't get sick. Anything else? Nothing else is going on. I'm 60 days in, back on. Do you guys watch that show? I am so addicted to that show. I would never do it. But holy cow, that is like the craziest show ever. If you do not watch it, it's on A&E. 60 Days In. It's about people that go into prison on their own accord. Nobody knows that they are, undercover innocent street bystanders, and they go in for 60 days and live with the prisoners, and they're just kind of left there. There's cameras at the prison that are already set up, and then they live amongst the prisoners, and they're like inside informants because the jail wants to try to make it safer. There's a lot of problems with it, and a new sheriff and marshal, I think. There's two people that basically, well, now there's three. There's three people that know that there's these people in the jail system. So they're actually keeping an eye on the correctional officers and the prisoners because they want to make sure that everyone is being honest and truthful. But it is the craziest show. You have to watch it if you don't. And if you do watch it, comment below so we can discuss, because this show is crazy. And so they immediately went on and did a second season of it because before people start finding out there's like these inside, aka narcs, they want to get some more people in. And one of them actually is the wife to one of the guys that was in the first season. So it is so good. It is so good. And of course, Big Brother. I'm a huge Big Brother fan. I'm rooting for Paul. Yes, I'm rooting for Paul. Nicole, maybe Corey. But Paul is like my number one. I hated him. Well, first I loved him before he started the show. Then I hated him. And then I loved him again because once he got away from Josiah the Messiah, then his real personality came back out, and then I liked him again. So I'm rooting for Paul. Who are you voting for? Who do you want to win if you do watch it? Comment below. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think that's all. Weight loss? No. I'm not gonna lie. I was doing diet bets and I was doing so good, and I don't know what happened, but the last 3 weeks have been really bad. But I'm going back on another diet bet so I can get that weight back off. Not too bad, but it is what it is. It's the truth. All right, guys, till next time. Bye.